Hey everyone, it's Ryan from No Credentials Required to talk to you about one of our newest partners at Belly Up Sports, SeatGeek. Yeah, live sports is great on television, but the feeling of being at the arena is a priceless experience. That's why our friends at SeatGeek are there to help you find the best tickets at the best prices. Not only can you get tickets to sporting events, we can also get tickets to concerts, comedy shows, musicals, and more. Search for your desired event now at SeatGeek.com, enter promo code BellyUpSports at checkout, and you save $20 off your first purchase. SeatGeek. Life's an event. We have the tickets.
For everybody that said, who cares, it's the Nations League, I just want to give you a giant fuck you. And the reason why, sorry Kelsey, but I am going to drop some F-bombs in this episode. The reason why I say that is, this is a competitive competition. We have a very short window now. We have the Nations League, and then now the Gold Cup that's coming in the summer to have competitive matches before going into the FIFA World Cup in 2026, that summer. I get it that the U.S. doesn't have to do any qualifications to go to the World Cup because they're automatically qualified, being that they are the host nation for the World Cup. But at the end of the day, if you have so many opportunities to show what this team could do and market this team as much as you can do prior to that World Cup, and winning competitive tournaments is that way. If you're putting in a terrible half-ass effort in the CONCACAF Nations League, a tournament that you have now won 3 times consecutively, obviously not no more because you got eliminated in the 4th installment of this tournament. And I get it. Nations League is not the most popular tournament. I get that part. But at the end of the day, it is a tournament that is being done, and it is a tournament that still needs to be taken seriously. That's all I'm saying. And once again, you have a short window to prove to the U.S., not even forget the world, the American fans, that don't watch soccer, this is the opportunity that you can get them to get in behind and support this U.S. team. And all the people that show, oh, look how empty the stadium is. Once again, context matters. This was a doubleheader. The people that were definitely going to buy the tickets were the guys who were going to go there to see Mexico, especially when you have it in LA. So I don't want to hear it anymore. It was a doubleheader. If it was individual tickets, I still wouldn't know if they would have sold out. I think in reality, maybe they should have had the U.S. be the 9 o'clock game and had Mexico play earlier. I don't know. I don't make the rules. But obviously, CONCACAF knows that Mexico brings them the money, and they got to make sure Mexico stays happy. And that's why they're the last match. And I get it. I totally get it. So I was fine with that whole thing, but it was embarrassing. People need to be critical about the U.S. men's national team. And I'm going to mention a podcast that obviously has no affiliation to Belly Up Sports, but part of my take, they brought up, I was praying to God that they weren't going to talk about the Nations League because Big Cat is not really a soccer guy, and which sucks because Big Cat is one of my biggest influences when it comes to podcasting. Hank is a fucking moron. I'm just gonna say point blank, and directly disrespects football, soccer, football, whatever you want to call it. He directly disrespects it every single time whenever it's brought up. PFT tries. I think PFT is actually genuinely someone that does support soccer in some level, not very fully knowledge, but he is someone that does watch MLS, I think at least watches like DC United. So I think that, and obviously he's the one that brings it up. So I think that he genuinely does like soccer in some aspect. But obviously he's more focused on football. And so obviously PFC brings up, hey, you guys wanted me to bring up the fact that like what happened in Nations League, and then Hank said, "Who cares? They're already going to be in the World Cup." I care. The guy that went viral at the stadium that said that we bleed for this, that we need change. That guy who got clowned, by the way, by everybody, like, oh guys, relax. Hey, it's soccer, get used to it. Like, here's the thing though. And I'm going to say that this is, and I'm going into a rant, and there's no way to end this. We get told that we need to take this sport more seriously. We try to take this sport more seriously by being critical about the U.S. men's national team, and then we're told to relax because it's not big of a deal. Like, and this isn't about maybe even amongst Americans, but like amongst people that are outside of American sports. maybe guys, the guys from Europe and all that, blah blah blah, and even Mexicans as well. Like you want us to be critical about our teams. You want us to take this sport seriously. When we try to be serious and we try to be critical, then we're told to back off because it's not that bad, not that big of a deal. Like, what do you want us to do at this point? Because at this point, I frankly am just saying F the world. Because, like, be critical, but don't be critical. Take it seriously, but don't really take it seriously. This is not your sport. You don't belong here. These are comments that I get regularly. That this isn't my sport. I don't belong here. So at the end of the day, do you want me to take the sport seriously or not? Do you want me to be critical when the U.S. men's national team is terrible? And I've pointed many times when the U.S. men's national team is terrible. I've mentioned many times that I don't believe Christian Pulisic is a captain. I've said these things time and time again. And even the times that we were happy that Greg Berhalter got fired, we were told, hey, you guys should have just been happy that he was at least giving you guys some results. But you want us to take it seriously. Should we not be should we be satisfied with some results, or should we be wanting more from our national team? And I think that's like the contradictory thing that like kind of pisses me off, because it's like, take it seriously, but not really. Don't take it seriously, but we want you to take this game seriously. It make sense to me at this point. But the U.S. men's national team, like I said, there was a lot of aftermath that came in. Many have spoke out about this performance because it's not good. It's not good to see this. It is the lack of effort, the fact that this is quote unquote the most talented team the U.S. men's national team has ever had, the fact that you keep name dropping these players being affiliated to a lot of these big clubs in Europe. Mind you, the people that keep saying Christian Pulisic and AC Milan and Weston McKennie and Juventus, AC Milan and Juventus are not doing really well in Serie A right now. So I don't know if being a good player on a team that's not doing well is really that big of a flex. All right? Like, if they were doing well and playing, competing for the Scudetto, I would say, okay, yeah, now let's talk about it. But it's kind of hard to be saying that our players are doing great on a very mid team. Things like that. Like, you don't see, no one praises Cameron Carter-Vickers for being part of Celtic's dominance in the Scottish Premier League. But obviously that's also because of the Scottish Premier League. But at the same time, like, why don't we why don't we take more note of that? Like, versus we're having, and Celtic is a pretty big club when it comes to the world of football. But like, I get it. AC Milan has the brand name, the branding, the name itself, Milan, right? But right now, Milan does not look good. As a matter of fact, they have defensive issues, and instead of signing defensive players, they go out and get Santi Jimenez, which is perfectly fine on my behalf, because this was a player that I said keep an eye on. And someone told me I was crazy for saying Santi Jimenez would be a player that might be going to Europe. But who am I? Anyways. But once again, we're being told all these things about this national team, how they're this and that and this and that, and then you bring in Mauricio Pochettino, a proper coach, all these things, and yet we get this kind of performance. There was no aggression, which is very tough to do when you're playing CONCACAF. You have to be aggressive. You have to be able to be physical. You have to put in some dog. You have to have dog mentality when you go into CONCACAF. And if you don't have it, you're not going to do well. The talent was in question. Once again, like, just even the way they were playing, like, playing through the back, things that you shouldn't be doing. Like, if you're the heavy favorite. The possessions were great, but they had no substance. Great. Okay, you had majority possession of the game, but who cares when you're not scoring goals? If it lacks substance, no one cares. And that's when you need to be aggressive in that final third, put one in the back of the net, or take shots, because eventually one of them is going to fall in. And that wasn't happening. Not even remotely happening for the U.S. men's national team. Obviously, Christian Pulisic was heavily criticized by the likes of Alexi Lalas, the likes of Tim Howard, the likes of Alejandro Moreno, Hercules Gomez, everyone being critical of Christian Pulisic, that he needs to step up more. He needs to be the face of the USA. The fact that he even has this stupid docuseries going on with CBS. Like, you can't be doing these things and say and not wanting the spotlight. You're literally putting it out to the world that you want this documentary on you, which is very early, by the way, to narrate your life essentially. But you're doing this super early, and I'm going to tell you this: that if you're saying you don't want the pressure on you, you don't want you don't want all the spotlight on you, like you just want to be good old Christian Pulisic, you can't do that and have a docuseries. I am sorry, that is the most contradicting thing I've ever seen in my life. And look, you're given the captain's armband. At the end of the day, they believe in you to be the leader of this team, and you need to have more clear and somehow profounding post-game interviews. Like, take accountability. Just say, yeah, we were terrible. There's nothing wrong with saying, yeah, we sucked. We're going to get better. But no, you don't say that. You said, yeah, it's easy to point out the aggression. Yes, it was easy to point out the lack of aggression because there was no lack of aggression. That's the easiest thing to point out. There's more things to point out. But the reality at the end of it all, like, just be more accountable. That's at the end of the day, that's what the captains do. They are accountable. And we didn't get that from Christian Pulisic, which, proves my point about that Christian Pulisic is simply just not a captain. He has just never, in my opinion, has been a captain to me. He can be our best player, and I'm perfectly fine saying that he is the U.S. men's national team's best player. I think maybe Anthony Robinson may make an argument, but he wasn't available for for this Nations League. And I think the other conversation involving Christian Pulisic, obviously, was he even playing in his best position? Mauricio Pochettino views him as a 10, similar to what he had with Christian Eriksen in Tottenham. But I mean, yes, Christian Pulisic does play the 10 for Milan from time to time, but we've all felt that he's more comfortable playing in the wing. Like, when he has space, he seems to be a more comfortable player. So why wouldn't you do that to his strengths? And that seems to be a Mauricio Pochettino problem. So when your talent isn't living up to the hype, or at least you're putting your talent in positions that maybe isn't really garnering them to their full potential, it is alarming. It is alarming, and that's why you need to have outrage and criticism on that part. And this goes to what's going on with the 2025 Gold Cup, which is coming this summer. It is, and it has to be a cup or bust at this point. It isn't, just go out there and compete. And I get it that there's going to be some conflicting issues just because of the fact that, like, the FIFA Club World Cup is also it's going to happen before the Gold Cup. And so certain players will not be available because they'll be competing in that tournament. And I get that part, but you still got to go out there and put out your best 11, your best players available to compete in this, because, like I said, it is cup or bust. If you do not win the Gold Cup, because this is another competitive competition, we need to see this tournament be taken seriously by Mauricio Pochettino, by the players, to show that they give a damn about this U.S. men's national team, and they give a damn about putting a proper product, that they give a damn about this confederation that is CONCACAF. I know it's hard to take this confederation seriously with how stupid and corrupt this confederation can be, but at the end of the day, you play who's in front of you. And if you want to be frank, Mexico doesn't seem to have a problem being able to put their best foot forward when it comes to CONCACAF competitions. So you better do it as well. And even they will probably put out a B team. And I'm telling you right now, their B team will probably still make it to the final. And yes, U.S. men's national team B teams, you make it to the final. But now it is your job to make sure that you put in a strong push, because it's not just Mexico's team that you're competing with. Canada's going to be there. Panama is going to have their A team, as long as they're all available for that competition. As long as none of them are playing in the Club World Cup. Panama is going to be there. And I think Saudi Arabia is also invited there, so that's kind of interesting. But yes, it is in fact cup or bust. And mind you, there's also friendlies before that Gold Cup, which is against Turkey and Switzerland. And I'm sure that they want to look good in those friendlies as well. Now, for all the people that are saying that, like, we why are we being so critical about the U.S. men's national team? Like, you guys should be used to being terrible. That's not the truth. This U.S. men's national team, once again, we said it, most talented group of players, blah blah blah. At some point, we got to be able to see it on at some point, right? So if they're not living up to the expectations, like how everyone's critical about the Mexican national team, how everybody's critical about the English national team, like if you guys are going to be able to be critical about your national teams, we should be able to be just as critical of our U.S. men's national team. If they are not living up to the expectations, especially of this golden generation, which I've actually told many people that it is not the golden generation. We need to put pressure. We need to be critical about them. No more the days of having them be walking on eggshells. No, not walking on eggshells, not having to feel the pressure of the press. There needs to be pressure on these players. These players need to be crap. We need to start, they're really like grilling on us now. We got to start taking this seriously. It just needs to be done. And I'm tired of having this conversation over and over again about, I don't know if these players care. I don't know what I'm getting for this U.S. men's national team. That U.S. men's national team is overwhelming. I just want to be able to watch the U.S. men's national team beat a team they're supposed to beat, or at least should beat. Once again, Panama. Everyone said that we should have beat Panama. Well, beat the teams you're supposed to beat. And then when you go up against Mexico, when you go up against Canada, when you go against Panama, you put in your best foot forward. Like, if they lose to Panama outright because Panama was just a better team, I wouldn't have much complaints. But when there's just people missed opportunity after missed opportunity after missed opportunity, injuries aside, who cares? You still had Josh Sargent, who performs in the championship with Norwich. And it is the most irritating thing in the world that he can't score a goal for the U.S. men's national team, but can do it for Norwich City. Like, I get why the Argentinian fans were so angry at Lionel Messi when he couldn't perform for Argentina, but can score goals and be the greatest player in the world for Barcelona. Obviously, that's not so much the issue anymore. But yeah, I get that sentiment. So yes, be critical about the U.S. men's national team. There's nothing wrong with being critical about the U.S. men's national team. It needs to be done. It just simply needs to be done.
Who is that guy?